Start recording. It didn't pop up to ask if I wanted to leave, but it did pop up for you guys, I think.
It did here.
Okay. Mute. Oh. Okay. So, class 5 of 8, welcome. Let's sit comfortably in our chairs, forget the conversation we just had. Okay. Recording. So sitting comfortably in our chairs, put our hands, pointers touching our thumbs, fingers out, hands resting on our thighs. And we'll start with mindfulness of deep breathing, breathing in to a count of 3 and trying to breathe out to a count of 6. Please stop me. Okay. Just needed a TV turned down in the next room. The mindfulness of deep breathing is just to help us focus, help us just be in the present moment, leave everything that's been going on all day, all week, all our lives. Just let that all go and just be here in the present moment. Mindfulness meditation is not about having no thoughts. It's about when you're aware that you're thinking, when you're aware that you're daydreaming, you bring your attention back to your breath, back to the present moment. It is a practice of constantly learning to come back to the present moment. Stop counting your breath. And now just focus on your breath. Focus on breathing in and breathing out. No longer need to rest your hands on your thighs with your pointer touching your thumb. Your hands can be in whatever position is comfortable. Just bring your attention to breathing in and breathing out. One breath at a time, breath by breath, moment by moment. Being aware of what's going on in the present moment. We have nothing to do, nothing to accomplish. We're just sitting here, being present, being aware of how our body expands as we breathe in and how it contracts as we breathe out. What is the quality of your breath? Slow, shallow, relaxed. Any stress or odd feelings in your body? Just breathing in and breathing out. Relax, de-stress, be present. Very important to remember to be non-judgmental. You really can't stop thinking. You can't stop your mind from spinning stories. But when you're aware that that's happening, you're back in the present moment. And just go back to paying attention to your breath. Just label it thinking. if you find yourself just stuck in a continuous loop of thinking, go back to mindfulness of deep breathing. Go back to counting, breathing in to 3 and out to 6 to try and be able to focus better. Bring your awareness to your body. Do you feel your feet supported by the floor? Your arms, are they hands resting in the lap, or your arms, my arms are resting on the arms of my chair? My body is supported by the chair. I can feel the back of the chair and the seat of the chair. We can pay attention with our senses while we're sitting and meditating. It's very comfortable in the room where I'm in, and it's quiet. Is the temperature of your room comfortable? Or is it a little cool or a little hot? Do you have a fan blowing? Can you feel the air on your hands, or your arms, your forehead? Our bodies can be our focus as well as our breath. Our bodies are only in the present moment, just as our breath is only in the present moment. Our practice is to be aware when we're having discursive thoughts, when we're daydreaming, And just pay attention to our body, our breath, being supported by the chair. Constantly practicing coming back to the present moment. The more we practice coming back to the present moment, the more natural the present moment is for us. Instead of being lost in thinking about the past or worrying about the future. In a few seconds, I'm going to ring the bell. And slowly open your eyes and be present with your eyes open and in the room that you're sitting in. I want to go back to talking about the body scan for a couple of minutes. It's one more tool in your arsenal of tools to be in the present moment. So whether it's just taking a deep breath in and slowly letting it out, or scanning your body, using your senses, what's going on right now around me. The body scan is something you can do in a heartbeat or for a half hour. Your body is only in the present moment. So using it as a tool to be present is something to be able to do. Tonight, I want to talk about thinking, thoughts, our minds. Mindfulness is not about having no thoughts. Mindfulness is about being aware that we're thinking. The human mind, our thoughts have created all the good and all the bad that we have in our world today. Whether it's rockets taking off for other planets, or inventing a cure or prevention. Let's go back. Inventing a vaccine to prevent disease. The human mind has been able to think of these things but we're not our thoughts. Just as our body keeps us alive, we do not have to think about breathing. We don't have to think about our heart pumping, our lungs working. It automatically happens. And the very first impulse we have is to survive, is our fight or flight mechanism. Our senses are really there to, first of all, protect us and keep us alive, to warn us of danger. And our body naturally responds to that danger with a fight or flight mechanism. Today, that fight or flight mechanism, most of the time, is not good for us. We don't need to be super stressed and be prepared to fight off a saber-toothed tiger. We need to be able to respond to what's going on in the world around us. Our very basic impulse is to react. And that reactivity causes endless stress. And for too many of us, we're just in that cycle of stress. And we add to that, our mind wants us to survive. So our mind keeps telling us stories from the past, reliving the past, so that when it happens again, we'll do it better, or stressing about the future. It's a Google search. The keyword happens, and our mind immediately brings up things that happened in the past and brings them up in a way that we'll relive them so that when they happen again, we'll do it better. So we're just constantly spinning the past. And when we're not spinning the past, we're stressing and spinning the future about what's going to happen. Tomorrow's doctor's appointment. What's he going to say about the lab test or the x-ray? What's he going to tell us about ourselves or our loved ones? And we just keep stressing. And when we're not spinning the past or stressing the future, we are the producer, the director, and the star of our own soap operas. So our minds just tell us stories. And the problem is we start to believe those stories. One way to come out of that spinning of those stories is to ask, is it really true? There's a large percentage of the population that believes lies about what's happening today. And they're listening to news reports that are continuing to spin those lies. And they're getting worked up and excited about those lies. They're not stopping to see, is it really true? They're just getting all worked up about it. We're trying to get as many people vaccinated as possible. But there are so many people that have heard, that are worried, that have heard stories, untrue stories about what could happen if they get vaccinated. They haven't paused to check it out. They believe that the news that they listen to is telling them the truth. So when we're daydreaming, when we're laying awake at night, not able to sleep because we're spinning some story, our problem is we start believing our thoughts as true instead of just knowing that it's a thought. It's just a thought. Can you stop and say, is this true? Or is it just a story that my mind is telling me? Is it a soap opera that my mind has produced, directed, and it wants me to star in? Can I just acknowledge it as thinking, as a story, and let it go? Can we start rewiring our brain? Again, what's wired together fires together. So when our mind does that Google search about vaccine, does it's dangerous pop up? Or it could save my life? Or being vaccinated could save my grandparents' life? For the person who hears COVID vaccine and thinks danger, danger, learning the truth can actually change that connection, that the next time they hear COVID vaccine, it's, I got it taken care of. I'm not going to get sick, and I'm definitely not going to make my grandparents sick. Practicing regularly, practicing mindfulness regularly actually starts rewiring your brain. The studies have shown it. You can start changing your default mode from constantly being stressed and worried to just being present, being aware of what's going on, and being able to respond to what's going on. Again, the Google search. The Google search is things that pop up, and we either relate to them in a good, healthy way, or past prejudice pops in, misinformation pops in, and we relate to things in a way that's not good for us or good for those we care about. One of my motivations for wanting to learn to meditate, wanting to learn to be much less reactive, was to treat the ones I love and care about the way they should be treated. The more I practice, the better I got at that, so that I spend a majority of my time responding to what's going on. I still react. Karen got a package in the mail and she left it out on the counter. And since tomorrow's trash day, I unwrapped it, took all the information, put it in the trash, put the box in the recycle bin, And 5 minutes before this class was going to start, and I'm trying to find the correct log on for everybody, Karen goes, I wanted to return that. What did you do with the packaging? So it was, okay, thank you for adding some extra stress. So, of course, I said, I wish you would have told me that or left a note. I wouldn't have thrown it out. But right now, I need to prepare to teach a class. So I'm sorry, I just raised my voice. And I'm going to go back to doing my best to be present. The next time you want to return something, let me know, or don't leave it out in front of me. Many years ago, that would have just been an ongoing thing for me to spin and spin and spin and be all stressed out. Suddenly thinking, gee, you've done this before and you keep doing this and you keep bringing me into the thinking mind. And if we can just pause and go, thinking, that's all it is, and let it go. Don't get caught up in whatever that story is. We are not our thoughts. They are simply thoughts. And when you look at them as simply thoughts, you unhook. If you want to look on YouTube, you can find bass fishing videos or fishing videos. So people cast that line and they sit there quietly relaxed, waiting for a fish to bite on the hook. And then they pick the fish up. If it's a big fish, they take a picture of it, they weigh it, and then they unhook it and they throw it back in the water. Catch and release. We're hooked by our thoughts, but we can unhook and just let it go. We don't have to get stuck in that cycle. And it's so easy to be triggered. Read an article on post-traumatic stress syndrome, and it described the adult child of an alcoholic can simply hear ice in a glass and be triggered back to the horrors of growing up with an alcoholic parent. Again, Google search. The noise of, I say Google search, and my phone is asking me what it is I want to search for. And the mind is suddenly spinning about the horrors of what happened growing up with someone with an alcoholic parent. Emotional attachment. So our mind, our stories, our thinking has been our entertainment. Before Netflix, we could daydream. Or our to-do list. Sunday nights, I can lay in bed and start going through the to-do list for what I have to do Monday at work. I can catch myself and just breathe and be present and let the to-do list go. And some Sunday nights, I get to do that multiple times. Maybe I need to do a few minutes of mindfulness of deep breathing. Maybe I need to do a body scan. I need to just let it go. Be aware that I'm spinning on that to-do list. Label it thinking, label it to-do list, and just let it go. The snow globe that we see at Hanukkah time or at Christmas time. So that globe that's filled with water and floating white stuff, and you shake it up and it's just floating and floating. But when you set it down, after a few minutes, it just all settles down. And it's our same thing of coming back to the present moment and just letting our mind settle. And thoughts pop up. Shake it a little. We come back to the present moment, to our breath or the feeling of our body, and we just let it settle more and more. Let's practice again. Let's try that counting our breath, the 20 breaths. So sitting up comfortably, we're going to count, breathing in, breathing out, one breath. We're going to count up to 10, get to 10. We're going to count backwards to 1 and start over again. So sitting comfortably, eyes open or closed. Breathing in, breathing out. That's 1. Breathing in, breathing out. That's 2. And continue counting till you get up to 10. When you get to 10, just count backward. Start counting backwards. One complete breath at a time, counting. If you lose count, pick a number or start over. It's just a practice. Non-judgmental. We don't beat ourselves up because we lost track of counting our breath. It's not important. We're counting our breath to give our mind something to focus on. That's all it is. I just counted to 10 instead of going back. I'm sorry, counted to 11. So using 20 breaths is just another tool to busy our mind, to be able to focus and be present. Stop counting now and just go back to paying attention to your breath. There is nothing to do. There is nowhere to go. We're just here paying attention to our breath, breath by breath, moment by moment. As soon as you're aware that you're thinking, you're already back to the present moment. Just pay attention to your breathing. Pay attention to your body. Few seconds, I'm going to ring the bell. Slowly open your eyes and be actively aware in the present moment in your environment. You can unmute yourselves. Our time for this evening is up. I hope you are trying to practice regularly. I hope you're finding it helpful to fall asleep or to fall back to sleep or to just deal with what's going on in your lives a little easier. I want to thank you for allowing me to share this with you. And it's time for us to do our act of loving kindness and repairing the world. And I know I feel nice and relaxed, and I hope you do. And I'd like us to send this energy out to all beings. May all beings be at peace, be healthy, know the causes of peace and things that will make them healthy. And end this with saying shalom and have a great week. And thank you for being with me. And I hope at some point the recordings will be available to everybody. I keep asking, but they haven't quite done that yet. Have a great week.
Thank you so much.
Hello. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Robert, enjoy the
Stay well.
locusts.
Stay
Have a
well.
good night, everybody.
Crunchy chocolate.
Fine.
Yeah, here you go.
Boy, I had lost that whole thought.
Count